Hi, I'm KenKopecky. I have Orange Element Studios. It's a theoretical company. For now, I'm a research assistant at Iowa State. And I'm going to talk to you about something that I've never really talked about before, at least in front of an audience, but it's something that's bugging me. It's about the way we're teaching coding. A little bit about myself. I'm really tired. I've been working the last month on 3 of the C6 demos that we've been demonstrating. You may have heard about SkyPaint. It won a small award today, and iGUI.F and Touch Factory are all being demoed tomorrow. I also like animals. This is my puppy. She's adorable. It's okay to say, "Aww." I also have ferrets, turtles, and a fish. And a little bit about my company that doesn't exist yet, Orange Element Studios, namesake, and the mascot. Yep, that's my little ferret, Baffles. And that's my car. So, a little bit about my educational background. Back in the day, my first experience with programming was doing logo on the Apple IIes in the computer lab at Meeker Elementary School here in town. It was cool. You know, you typed in the little commands and the turtle did circles. I didn't even know I was programming. I was just doing something cool. So, a few years later, this is 8th grade, using a little a chat program called The Palace with a scripting language called Ipscray, which has a graphical component. And that was the very first program I ever wrote in that. Then, when I was in high school, I started programming on my TI-86. I made a cheat sheet for chemistry. I tried to make an RPG game, which was kind of cool, except all the animation was moving text around over a picture. And then I also made a little game where you move around on a dot. I also did 3D animation and 3D modeling. And that's, back in the day, it was my dream to work at EAI when it was still around. These are some of the pictures that I did. So then I got to college, and I took Engineering 160 or 161, I don't remember which it is, and they claimed they were going to teach us programming. So they had a whole bunch of us sit around on a computer and write, I don't even remember. And that's why it's significant, because I don't remember. I don't remember it at all. So we're going back to graphics, and that's been sort of a twisty road for me. That's where I am now. And what I had to do was get from doing all the graphics and programming I did in high school to my mechanical engineering undergrad back to graphics. Okay, that's me, mostly me. So now a little bit about learning styles. So we have all the learning styles. They're categorized differently by who you ask, but basically you have visual, audio, and tactile. But I've never heard of a hello world learner. And this is how we're teaching programming. Everyone has to do hello world, and then they have to do something else. They have to do something else that just incrementally builds on this. And it's so boring. I like to see what I'm doing. And this is how I really learned programming. My first script, it was a graphical script. It drew a bunch of lines. That's not very much, but it was programming. And I learned new things, and it got me wanting to do more things. And then the other cool thing about the graphics is you can show people. You can be creative. You have these instant results. You can be like, dude, look what I did. Whereas if you're doing something with an array or unit conversions, you can show people the numbers on your screen, but they're not really going to care. Little example, it's not quite the exact same thing, but it's in the same direction. My graphics programming class, the first formal programming course I took, I had to make an assignment where I had to position 3D shapes. And I thought, okay, this is really boring. So I made a bulldozer that you drive around and you move the shapes around. So now you're asking, but what about the basics of programming? You kind of pick those up as you go along. At least that's how I did it. Anyway, Scratch. Scratch was cool. I made this slide while we were messing with Scratch. And it's the exact kind of thing I'm talking about. It teaches you programming visually, and it's not boring. You're doing something somewhat meaningful, something that you can show your friends, and I think it's important. But what we need is a bridge from this logo and this Scratch to a functional language like C or C++. At least I think we do. Not quite sure how to do it, but maybe we don't need it. Maybe we can just say, go from here. Oh, and here's how you do it in C.